Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to School of Science. My name is Luke and this is the Everton Stadium update for the 13th of August. Now, looking over the site today, there's plenty to talk about, especially around the east, the west, north, and even a little bit around the south as well, which is actually kind of surprising. So, as we look over the east stand today, one of the main things I would like to mention, apart from the cantilever trusses, there's now 3 of them rather than 2, so they are actually progressing that one. They're progressing it, but it's not at surprisingly, they're not moving it at a surprisingly fast pace. They're moving it at the pace which is expected. So what you normally will expect is one new cantilever every week. But one thing to make a very quick mention, if you've ever had a look at the Everton renders, well, the Everton flyover, so you'll see like a virtual fly through on Everton's YouTube page. The front itself is a very interesting one, just for the fact that it's got a black framing around the very front entrance, as well as the glass up top there. So the glass up there, that's where the hospitality suite is. So one thing to mention is the holes that you can see on the side there, they're going to have to be closed very, very late on. And from there, they're going to have to add facade on there very late on, because obviously all the construction equipment that's in the very middle of the stadium, in the bowl itself. So we're going to have to, that is definitely one I'm going to have to keep an eye out for in the future, when they start closing that up, because I think that's going to be one of the biggest indicators. When you start seeing work getting done on the massive holes around the east stand, that will indicate that pretty much the very vast majority of the external work is done, and they're going to have a major focus on a lot of stuff internally. So we're going to have to keep a very close eye for that one in the future. Now, bear in mind, this probably isn't going to be for another maybe 6 to even 8 months down the line, because right now, there is still a lot of external work to be done. Now, bear in mind, this is all like reasonably small stuff, not in compared to like what we've had this time last year. But as we go over the south stands at the moment, you're not going to see very much from this point of view. But if you look at this image right here, you will notice that there is, well, I'm saying there is our metal raker beams. So they are all in place now for the south stand. And what's probably going to be happening in the very near future is we are probably going to see the rest of the concrete terracing being put down. Now, here's an interesting point for you. Some of the stadiums in the Premier League now, they're starting to look towards safe standing in their stadiums. That being, one that was mentioned to me was St James's Park. Now, I'm taking this one with a slight grain of salt, but they did mention that St James's Park, the away area, is apparently going to be given safe standing. Now, I'm going to personally disagree with that one, because I've been to St James's Park, and the away area is, to say the very least, it's very high up, it's very steep, and it is not safe by any means to be doing anything like that. So, if we were, let's say for argument's sake, the FA are to approve, say, we can have safe standing for Premier League games. So that would be for us, the base layer of the south stand, the base layer of the north stand. So basically the very first levels of them. You're not going to have it in the upper levels, because obviously this isn't safe. So that means you're going to have both home and away fans with safe stands. And now, granted, I would be more than happy to take that, because that's immediately going to say that we're going to go from 52,800 all the way up to 62,000 maximum capacity for Premier League games by the time we move in. That is a massive boost in revenue for Everton, to tell you the very least. And I'm more than confident that we would actually fill 62,000 seats, because the very recent game, so when we took on Fulham, literally about today to 2 days ago, whenever this gets released, we had, I believe it was 38,940 in the stadium at the time. So, and the tickets pretty much sold out almost instantly. But yeah, I'm falling way off topic here. I'm going to get right back onto this real quickly. So, in regards to the West Stand right now, you can see that the cantilever trusses, well, I'm saying cantilever, the tip pieces for the cantilever trusses are in place now. So you've got 5 of them, whereas last week it was 3. And one thing to actually mention as well, so if we look at the very northwest corner, so the corner that you can see on the bottom left of your screen, you can see on the top there's work that's getting done there, and it's a little bit confusing because you look at the renders and there shouldn't be anything there. That should essentially just be flat ground or flat land that's empty in that part of the stadium, or that part of the external of the stadium. But they've they're putting something there, and I don't know what exactly it is. So if anyone's able to actually tell me what exactly is going on there, I would greatly appreciate it, because I'm a little bit confused by that one. It looks like containers from my point of view. I mean, it could even potentially just be the batteries for the solar panel, which is absurd because the solar panels are going to be on the south stand. So for them to basically have them there and then the batteries there, that's stupid, so ignore that one. Now, as we're going across the north stand at the moment, I am doing a lower and a higher view. This is more down to the fact so I can show you guys underneath. So you can, right now, you can see not just the brick facade on the top layer, but you can see the stuff that's underneath as well. So what we might do is we might do this once a month. So let's say the start of each month, the first week of each month, I might do that, and then we just carry on as business as usual. Just because there isn't too much that's going on down there, in all fairness. You can see a little bit of window framing, you can see a little bit of facade, but there's just not too much going on down there to really be of much of a benefit for that. But it is nice to see that there is a lot of work going on down there, and there's just, overall, there's a lot of work that's going on all over the stadium. And you can even see a nice little brief look at the back end of the hydraulic tower. So all the, looks like all the scaffolding is actually down off the hydraulic tower and its engine room to the side. So it'll be interesting to see what they do about that over the course of the next couple of months. But as we look over the very top of the north stand, we can see that there has been a bit of progress to the cladding. It's kind of confusing seeing this, to be honest, because I don't know how many layers are actually going to be getting put on. But looking over it right now, this looks like it could be the third layer that's getting worked on right now. And it kind of looks like insulation layer. If you've ever seen insulation foam, if you ever get like the fancy stuff like the aluminium foil sort of stuff that's put on the external to try and compact it and keep it nice and tight, it kind of looks like that. So I'm assuming this might potentially be an insulation layer, which kind of seems a little contradictory just to the fact that it's an open stadium. Now, granted, if we had a retractable roof on the stadium, that would definitely be understandable because, well, there's a retractable roof. They want to try and maintain things in there. But with it being, you know, an open sort of planned stadium, it doesn't really, you know, heed the need for an insulation layer. But then again, I could be completely wrong because, well, what do I know? I'm just flying the drone around there and I'm just eyeballing what I see and using references from the renders and the fly-through that are on Everton's YouTube channel as points to sort of compare between what's going on right now and what's going on when it's finished. But yeah, guys, overall, the stadium is moving along as we are expecting. It's going to be more than likely midway through the 24-25 season, or even the very beginning of the 25-26 season when we finally actually move in there. But I am excited regardless of whatever time we move in, because it's just going to be an absolutely magnificent stadium, and it's going to be one of the most high-tech stadiums in England, we'll say. Just in England for, I'll probably say for the foreseeable. Just for the fact that I don't see very many other teams actually planning on making new stadiums or doing upgrades of this sort of scale. But in any case, guys, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week and take care. Peace.